Hey everyone, and welcome back to Gap Perspective with Haley and Janet. Hi, Janet.
Hi, Haley.
I am absolutely buzzing with excitement today because I have a very special guest joining us. Someone who was not only incredibly talented, but also one of my favorite people in the entire world. Please give a massive virtual hug and a warm welcome to the amazing GiaBello. Hi, Gia.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Gia. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm super grateful to be doing this with you guys.
It's a pleasure to have you. We're excited to hear what you have to say.
I'm very excited. I'm stoked.
Good, good.
Great. Gia, my dear friend, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us and our listeners today. For those who might not know, Gia is an incredibly gifted recording artist and songwriter, pouring her heart and soul into every single note and lyric she creates. Now, while we could spend the entire episode just gushing about Gia's incredible music, and trust me, we might touch on that, today we're diving into something a little more personal and meaningful. Can you share a little bit about when you first realized that songwriting and music creation had a positive impact on your mental well-being?
I realized that when I was actually going through like a rough mental time last year and I wanted to find what was going to make me happy and what I can do with it for the rest of my life because it was always a passion I had it like to do music and songwrite since I was a kid, but it genuinely makes me happy. It really like helped my depression and anxiety. Just to say what I have to say with music, it really, really helped me.
I'm happy to hear that. Jana, do you have anything to add?
Yes. So how old were you when you discovered that you were depressed or anxious? Do you recall what age that was?
Um, it was around like 18 years old. I found out I was depressed and it was very hard to take because, I always thought I was like a happy person, but I guess it ran in the blood and from traumatic experiences, but this was really my outlet, you know, for myself, and I wanted to share it with the world.
Yes, that's very good. I mean, because music, a lot of people listen to music.
Exactly.
And it's very helpful to a lot of people. But go ahead. We can continue that. Could finish, Haley. Go ahead.
What was your relationship with music like before you recognized its therapeutic benefits?
It was more of like a fun thing for me, like a hobby, until I realized like it was actually like really like making me feel like again genuinely happy and like I had a joy to do something other than like the daily life where I go to work and like do my normal routines. It's just something that it was for fun, but now it's like I realize I can connect with people who feel the same way
Mhm.
and that want to say what they have to say that, other people might not or can't. You know what I mean? So I could just have a voice for people who feel the way I do, you know? So that's when I realized there is therapeutic benefits.
So, Gia, you feel that you're helping others in your songs. You're giving a message,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, music can make you happy, sad, sing, dance, laugh, cry.
It makes
And
you feel emotions.
yes, yes, it brings up many emotions. You're correct. Most of the time, though, it brings back memories, sometimes good, sometimes bad. But
Right.
I think in your case, it's wonderful what you are doing. It's like music therapy, correct?
Yeah.
Hmm. Very good. Very good.
My next question for you would be, do you find that different stages of the music making process, such as writing, composing, recording, performing, offer different mental health benefits?
Yeah, the writing part is like the core to the mental health benefits because you're writing and you're reflecting on your own thoughts and your emotions and the beats and composing comes with that like that comes naturally. So I feel like writing is definitely one of the health benefits because it's a storytelling thing. So that's how you're gonna connect with people. Composing and recording, it's like I can find any beat and they'll go with the song. It goes with how I'm feeling. That, it can be any type of beat. It really doesn't matter, but the writing is definitely the benefit to that for sure.
Yeah.
That's great to
Thank
hear. And then when you perform your songs in front of a crowd, do you also feel like that offers mental health benefits to you as well?
Yeah, because I'm also like releasing all the energy that I have and people feel the energy, they feel the vibe when you're performing in front of a whole crowd. They understand what you're seeing, they understand how you're feeling, like they just see it live. As opposed to listening to it like on the headphones or like, on video, they see your pain, they see your happiness, they see your emotions actually in person. And you make it come to life too, as to match your words and stuff like that. So yeah, it does have a benefit too.
Okay. Yes, I love that. What advice would you give to someone who is curious about exploring music as a way to support their mental well being, but doesn't know where to start?
I would say my advice is to really, really reflect on yourself first before you start putting your stuff out there. Like if someone's struggling with mental health and wants a way to release it, write it in a way that's going to connect to everybody and not just cuz you're upset or like because you know what I mean, like you have to do a lot of self-reflect. It took me a lot of self-reflecting to write to even start writing. I had a writer's block for a long time. But
you.
you know, I would say hear yourself and definitely take it slow. Songs are not going to be perfect and definitely make sure that, you want your message out there heard and cleared. So, yeah, that's my
Okay.
advice.
Do you think that people that are depressed or anxious, we're just going to go with depression for now.
Okay.
Do you think that shows in their song, or do you think that, in your opinion, sometimes they could write a happy song even though they're depressed and they're masking their depression?
Yeah, I would say like that's like a way of like because I have wrote songs that are like happy or whatnot, but it would be more like as so like trying to make yourself happy in a good mood, like
Mhm.
making yourself like because I've written a lot of like lit songs in this generation they call lit, but
I don't know what that means. So you have to explain. Remember, I'm not the Gen Zer here. I'm the boomer. So if you could explain that to me and the other boomers, I'd appreciate it. What does that mean?
well the lit songs are like happy dancing like songs just like to vibe to I guess, and it helped me with it just makes me happy making any type of song, like,
Good.
so it really doesn't matter, like, it's just based on how you feel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it does encourage movement
Yeah.
because when you hear a good song, it kind of energizes you. I know myself. You tap your foot, you move around because it
Yeah.
shows that, from what I was reading, that it produces endorphins that stimulate your brain and it puts
Yeah.
you in a better mood. Your blood flow increases, your body starts to move around. It helps you kind of keep, stay awake.
Yeah.
Good. it stimulates you in a sense. Of course, unless it's a Debbie Downer song, then I don't think it'll do that.
I definitely love overstimulating music, so I like making a lot of songs like that too, to be in a like happy mood.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah. So
yeah, I do have my like sad songs, or I like to relate to people who are feeling the same way.
sure.
So
Sure. Good. Very good.
My next question for you would be, does sharing your music with others amplify these positive feelings, or is it the primary benefit, such as the personal act of creation?
I would say it's both for me. Like I just like creating, and it's positive. Even if I'm sad, it's positive. Even if I'm mad, like, and I make something out of it, it comes out positive to me. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Right. So you feel like when you're making music, even if you're feeling down, you're still releasing all those emotions. So it's kind of like a release for you in a way.
yeah, it's definitely a release. Definitely. Cause, I was always like a quiet kid. I never really, you know, like said anything about my emotions. Like I always never really got to talk about it as much. Um, so when I do make stuff like this out of creation, it does really help my confidence and like my self-esteem, if I'm being honest, and that I'm able to have these capabilities of creating things like this.
Right.
Very, very good. I'm glad that it helps you. That's important. Everybody has to find some kind of a niche when you're in that state of mind,
Yep.
whatever it may be. And luckily, you found yours. And I'm happy for you that you did.
Thank you.
Maybe at the end, you could sing us a little tune.
Sure. I definitely will do that.
Okay.
Yes. You can definitely do it at the end. Even if it's like 15 or 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Good.
Looking ahead, how do you see music continuing to play a role in your ongoing mental wellness?
Honestly, I see it just, you know, I see it as a personal thing where I can just like, let's say if I had like a journal and then like, you know, I come home, I write, and like how my day is going, or if I'm like how I'm feeling is just gonna be an like a release for me till, till the day I die because that's how much I love it, you know? And it will definitely make me happier in the long run, for sure, as it has now.
That's great to hear. I like that for you. Janet, do you have anything to add?
No, I was just looking at something that's while singing, inhaling and exhaling, it provides the same effects as yoga, breathing, which helps you relax. So it makes sense that it would help your mental state by singing. And you don't even have to know how to sing. You could just sing.
Yep.
Like sometimes you're in the car, you sing. I mean, I can't sing to save my life, but I like to sing when when there's music on, obviously. And you know what I read too? Want to know what cures road rage? Car karaoke. Is saying that if
No,
you're stuck in
You
traffic,
loves her karaoke.
I love
see,
my karaoke.
they're saying singing along in the car, it improves your mood and it reduces the stress when you're stuck in traffic or
Yep.
someone cut you off. Instead of yelling at the person, just sing along a song to them.
Exactly.
There's no
Yeah. That works.
Avoid road rage by doing that.
Might save somebody's life.
Right.
Yep. What else we got now?
My final question for you would be, where can our listeners find your music and connect with you?
You guys can follow me on Instagram, gia.bellas. I have all my songs on my link tree in my bio. So, it's there and anybody can listen to it.
That's great.
Great. That's awesome.
All for all types of genres too.
Good. And for us baby boomers, what do you
Yeah.
got for us? You got something
Oh,
for us?
I got something good. I got a nice 50s beat I'm doing right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I have some ideas for you. I listen to so many of those songs, and I even said it to Haley a few times. Why don't they bring them back? Of course, she looks at me like I have 3 heads. But I think if you added a beat to it or something like that, the words are still, most music is love stories and broken hearts and, falling in love and all that. And a lot of that is missing now. This is coming from a baby boomer. There's nothing left to the imagination now.
Yep.
It's
Correct.
get right to the points without being graphic. And I think that needs to be a little left to the imagination. Like years ago, you would say, oh, I wonder what it'd be like if, So there's a lot of them out there, and I'm glad to hear that you are trying to work with a song from years ago. That's good.
Yep.
I'd like to hear it when you're done.
Yeah. I would also say, like, a lot of people are very scared of being vulnerable in music nowadays. And I feel like that's also why it's not the same how it used to be back then.
No.
It's just, everybody has ego nowadays. Like, it's just, obviously music is not going to never be the same, but, there are musicians and artists out here that are, trying to make the real music here.
The real music without the beats, without that, that help with
Yeah.
all the beats, right? That's what it's called, beats.
Yeah.
And really, really being good singers with good voices.
Yeah.
Because isn't it true? I don't know really much about the music industry, but isn't it true that you can cover up a lot with all that background stuff?
Yeah, there's auto-tune, there's
Right.
mastering, editing, all that.
Mhm.
I think and also an advice to anybody who's listening, really find a good producer that's gonna work with you and take your time. That way they can accentuate your voice and give you your sound that you need, and take the time to make something that's, sound for you and how you want it to sound to the world. So,
That's right.
yep.
Yes, I
That's
agree.
great. That's great. It's really a pleasure having you on.
Thank you guys. I'm so appreciative.
Of course. Yeah. What a wonderful conversation we had with the insightful songwriter Gia. It's amazing how music can connect us all. Gia's story is a testament to the power of vulnerability and the beauty of the creative process. Gia, thank you so much for sharing your perspective with us, and thank you to our listeners for joining us on this episode of Got Perspective.
Love nowadays is scary. To keep it safe, my heart I bury. Who's gonna be the one to tell me it's okay to be sharing all this love that I carry, all this hurt that is tearing me apart? Damn, it's so hard. Like, are you the one? It's so frustrating. Is it too late